Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Maria Stella Febrianti, and today I will be the moderator of today's debate. We will use the Austral-ASEAN parliamentary system. Each speaker have 7 minutes to speak and give the argument. For the order, we will start from first speaker of government team, and we will continue to first speaker of opposition team. Then we will continue the order until the third speaker of opposition team. And for the closing speaker, we will start from the opposition team and then government team. Now, we come into our debate today with motion. This host believe that online learning is effective on this pandemic period. First speaker of government team, the time and screen is yours, please.
Thanks, thanks to the moderator for the opportunity given. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon, Miss Maria Stella, as moderator of debating today. The jury and ladies and gentlemen, before we debate our motion this afternoon, allow us from the group government to introduce ourselves. I am Dini Nurul Septiana as the first speaker, who is in charge of introduction team members, presenting of definition and conveying the background of the motion. At the same time, explain the important point of the argument from our team. Furthermore, Renawati, as the second speaker, who will present argument to strengthen the argument that I have presented, as well as provide strong evidence and also serve as counter speaker. And my colleague Thessalonica as the third speaker who will reconstruct and present conclusion and solution. Ladies and gentlemen, the motion being debated this afternoon is this house believes that online learning is effective on this pandemic period. Furthermore, there are three keywords that become the basis of our team argument. The first is online learning, the second is effective, and the third is pandemic. Online learning is learning that is done online without face-to-face, but through an available platform using learning, application, and social network. The second keyword is effective, which means something that can produce what is expected, and the third keyword is pandemic. Pandemic is an epidemic that spread simultaneously everywhere, covering a wide geographical area. A pandemic is an epidemic that spread across almost an entire country or continent, usually affecting large numbers of people. Therefore, our group strongly agrees with this motion, which based on two arguments. First, because by applying online learning, students can staying at home, they will certainly reduce the spread of the COVID-19 virus and maintain their safety. We all know that 262 million people have been infected by the coronavirus, and there are 5.1 million people in this world who have died because of the virus. From this data, we absolutely agree that online learning is carried out as a solution to be able to maintain student health so that cases of COVID-19 can decrease. Because right now, our health is the most important thing. What will happen if, in the current situation, face-to-face learning was still applied? Of course, the health of the student is at stake. The two online learning were chosen because have the highest level of effectiveness starting from being much more cost-effective to the variety of platform used. So, we still agree that online learning is the most effective solution during a pandemic. That is all, and thank you. Then I return it to the moderator.
Okay, thank you for the first speaker from government team. Then we will continue to the first speaker from the opposition team. The time and screen is yours, please.
Well, thank you to the make their argument. For that, first I will introduce our team members. I'm Tarisa Aulia Putri as a speaker 1, Siti Farida as a speaker 2, and Umi Nur Fatima as a speaker 3. Okay, before I will confirm that the thing discussed in this debate is the effectiveness of online learning in these pandemic times. Online learning is the current pandemic period has been widely implemented. Even almost all school and university in Indonesia and even the world has implemented this policy. However, we disagree with the motion saying that online learning is effectively implemented. The government team indeed say that by applying online learning, the spread of the virus will be considered effective. However, it should be underlined that several studies in 2020 shows that online learning is considered ineffective in pandemic times. This is evidenced by the result of research that show that not only few students complain about online learning, one of the complaints is in terms of cost. Previously, the government team said that there are advantages in online learning system, which is related to cost efficiency. However, based on the research conducted by Dewanta and Nugriansha in 2020, shows that online learning actually create new problem in the financial aspect. In addition, to increase the cost burden for the quota purpose, students also do not get waived in terms of tuition payment. Even though family income is being choked due to the paralysis of economic and business sector in Indonesia some times ago. Then, the next problem is implementation of online learning is the existence of bloated tasks. This makes students is lazy to carry out their obligations in doing lecture assignments. With the online system, students can focus on studying without needing to sit through long lectures. Then the next problem is implementation of bloated tasks. This makes students lazy just to carry out their obligation in doing lecture assignments. This is because not all students are able to understand the short material provided by the lecturer. This leads to attention is reduced. This reduction occurs due to ineffectiveness of the time available. Many students and lecturers often double device or double several events at the time. It certainly catch. The above opinion is supported by research by Dewanta and Nugiansa in 2020 with the aim of PGRI Yogyakarta University student. Based on the research, in the aspect of discussion lack in online learning show that 39% of the respondents felt bored, 29% respondents complained about the waste of internet quota, 4% of respondents answer no signal, 11% of respondents answer shuttering technology in the attempt of not understanding using technology, and 10% of respondents shows other answers such as not having busy when working, sick, and etc. High level of saturation in natural things to happen not only for students of PGRI Yogyakarta University, but also students in other university, and not only students who well felt bored. Lecturer feel the same way. To anticipate saturation, the majority of lecturers limit their material or even only conduct lecture once a month. Maybe applying online learning during a pandemic considered to have many benefits, but for now, that's not effective. That's all for me. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you for the first speaker from opposition team, and then we will continue to the second speaker from government team. The time and screen is yours, please.
Okay, thank you so much. The jury that I respect, I'm Rena as the second speaker of the group government. Ladies and gentlemen, the first speaker will love previously stated that his argument was that online learning was considered ineffective for various reasons, such as the cost which was actually more expensive. However, based on research released by Medan Area University, the cost of online education is much lower. The existence of online books allow us to have Books at a cheaper price and efficiently carried anywhere. In the study, the research also wrote that online learning allows you to choose many courses that can be accessed anywhere, so money that was previously used for transportation can be diverted to buy clothes. Then the first speaker said that online learning to swilling of the task that can be done by students. But online learning is a form of learning that can make students independent and not dependent on others. This matter because through courses, student learning will focus on the screen of the device for the complete an assignment or join a discussion ongoing. Now, alias there is interaction unnecessary and unnecessary talk important. Everything discussed is a thing which is important to complete competence to be archived. Therefore, through bold learning is expected to make Madrid student in constructing knowledge. Students learn best when they active can construct their own understanding them about what they learn. So from this opinion, it can be seen that learning there to have the advantage is constructing knowledge possessed by students. Through courageous learning of students independently will create knowledge that will be mastered that the knowledge mastered by student will be more meaningful because of the conclusion, not memories. From several statements, it can be keywords quality of education in Indonesia can also be improved through learning breadth. Students will be more competent in master competence independently so that active learning will be formed. Other than that, competition mastered by students will increase conceptual because of what you get is a conclusion related to student schema. That answer that is really needed from that word is yes. Learners are really need, considering that pandemic is still endemic and there has not been found a drug that can kill the pandemic and maze. We agree that in some learning, even our reschedule, however, even though the rescheduling of learning is still being carried out right, even if it's night. So online learning is effective to of use who will be technology so take the opportunity in this pandemic with learning we will learn more about technology. Now is the era of technology. Teachers and lecturers must be accustomed to teaching by utilizing complex bold media that must be packaged effective, easily accessible and understood by students. Teachers are able to design online learning that is like and effective by utilizing appropriate device or bold media and accordance with the material being taught. Even with bold learning, there will be wider opportunities to explore the material to be taught based on research conducted by the Ministry of Religion. That's all I can say. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you for the second speaker from government team, and then we will continue to the second speaker from opposition team. The time and screen is yours, please.
Okay, thank you. I am Siti Farida, a second speaker of the opposition team. The motion said online learning is considered effective in times of pandemic like this. However, we don't think it's effectively implemented. As the speaker of the first opposition team has said before, the ineffectiveness of online learning is second of both in terms of the cost and cognitive ability of students. That is true. If traced further, in this pandemic period, the financial aspect is fluctuating. The up and downs of trend in this financial aspect are due to the stalling of the economic sector due to the pandemic. This correlation can be seen from the number of companies that go bankrupt. So they choose to make massive dismissal to their employees. For example, in chocolate company in Bandung, which are quite with market share. namely Ceres Company. In addition, the government also made a policy to close markets, restaurant on the roadside, and limit operating hours for business people. This certainly makes their income reduce, and even some of them go into bankruptcy. Bankruptcy and dismissal are two factors that affect the financial aspect of online learning. Not smooth income makes it difficult for parents to finance their children's school needs, especially when viewed in more detail. The use of online meeting applications that support online learning requires a lot of money every month. Most college students admit that before the pandemic, they only need 18,000 to 25,000 to buy internet quotes. However, currently, spending on internet quotes forecasts swell to 100,000 to 1 million per month. Of course, this is one of the cause of inefficient in online learning. Apart from that, I also don't agree with Rena's argument. First, online learning makes students creative. According to the research we found, the creativity of students and lecturers during online learning actually decreased. This can be seen from the research conducted by Widiono in 2020, which showed that variation in online learning are required to get rid of the boredom experienced by students. The emphasis on the word really required means that it indicates the lack of creativity of students and lecturers in learning from this. Then the second one is flexible. Previously, the government team said that in the online learning there is flexibility in determining study schedule and other agenda. However, what we see in the field it is precious with this online learning system that a many schedule and agenda call it. For example, some time ago during the Dis Natalis Faculty of Medicine Diponegoro University event, at the time the event was talking place several study programs were having other agenda, such as a guest lecture and substitute lecture. This certainly creates confusion for students who are required to participate in the three events. Then, the government team also believe that online learning can offer various choices of learning programs that make online learning effective. However, let's look further. Some studies show that there are still many educators, such as lecturers and also students, who are not able to operate the programs available for online learning. This is of course make online learning not optimal because those who are technological stuttered are not able to show their original ability to the fullest. In addition, there are other problems that make online learning ineffective, including many lecturers who only ask students to submit assignments through a platform. According to the research conducted by Dharma Laksana and his friend in 2020, it showed that most assignments like this are only for formality to avoid teaching obligation, even though lecture play a role in reviewing reading made by students. The student of the rating of the student assignment must be thoroughly corrected to measure the extent to which students understand in abortion to teaching material presented by the lecturer. Nurgiansyah also argued that lecturer must have the ability to sort and choose relevant learning models and media to overcome boredom. And then the student admit that they had difficulties in understanding the material given by the lecturer because the lecturer could only provide limited material. Based on the research conducted by Dewantara and Nurgiansah in 2021 on PGRI Yogyakarta University student regarding the result of delivery of teaching material in online learning, it showed that 79% of respondents answered very less. 15% of respondents answer less, 3% of respondents answer enough, then 2% of respondents answer well, and the rest answer very well only 1%. This proves that during online learning, the material presented by the lecturer cannot be fully absorbed by the student. This can happen because the material is delivered continuously or there are some submaterial that are are not delivered. This is natural because generally each course consists of 15 face-to-face meetings. With online learning, some lectures condense teaching material so that only 3 to 5 times to online learning. Even a few lecture, even even a few lectures cut the material so that not all material is conveyed to students. That is all from me. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. And then we will come to the last speaker from its of group. For the third speaker from government team, the time and screen is yours, please.
Okay, thank you. I'm Thessalonica as a speaker from the team government this afternoon, as well as conveying conclusion and solution. Well, the conclusion from the opinion that our team has conveyed is learning must continue to be carried out even through in the midst of the difficulties of COVID-19, and the safest and most effective way is to do online learning. Through online learning, we can gain knowledge without having to be afraid of contracting COVID-19. Through online learning, we are also trying to be technology literature so that we able to keep up with the times. Online learning provide opportunities for students to apply for self-study. The application of self-study makes students more independent, and of course this is very in line with the program from the Minister of Education and Culture who went to implement the independent learning program. Second, with many learning said, of course, students don't need to worry because they can get a lot of material with accurate references on this sheet. In fact, not only paid ones, many online learning sheets provide free access, so students can access all material without thinking about the cost problem. This online learning is very profitable and safe during a pandemic like now because school move at home, so there is no need to leave the house to reduce the transmission of COVID-19 and instead use cash money to buy internet quota. Even without releasing science and technology knowledge is more advanced than face-to-face learning because they often use smartphone. Therefore, our group strongly agrees that online learning is the best solution for learning during the COVID-19 pandemic. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the third speaker from government team, and we will continue to the third speaker from opposition team. The time and screen is yours, please.
Okay, thank you. I'm Umi as the third speaker from the opposition team. This time I will convey conclusion and solution. The conclusion from the opinion that has been conveyed by our team is that online learning during a pandemic is indeed one way to continue to be able to carry out the teaching and learning process that is safe from infection with the COVID virus. However, this doesn't mean that this learning system is effective. The ineffectiveness of online learning can be seen from various aspects, as explained by the first speaker and second speakers of the opposition team. There are many new problems that arise during online learning, starting from the economic aspect, where the phenomenon of expenditure is not balanced with income. There have been many layoffs of employees at the company, closing of shop and market, as well as restriction on the operating hours of a bassinet which has stagnated in the income of several parties. This income congestion has a major impact on the sustainability of their children's schooling. Currently, their children are required to be able to have a fairly large quantity of internet quota at a price that has increased 4 times than usual due to an increase in the amount of data used. This is one of the factors causing the ineffectiveness of online learning. In addition, from a cognitive and educational perspective, online learning is considered unable to improve the cognitive abilities of students and lecturers. This has been confirmed by previous speaker, namely, there are studies that show that learning from lowers the creativity of students and lecturers. Students tend to be lazy to be able to explore further their understanding of the material provided. This can be caused by unsupportive environment and lack of student motivation to learn. This addition In addition, the lecture only provides material in outline which is explained in more detail. This makes it difficult for students to understand the material given, which ultimately makes students bored and depressed so that their desire to learn decreases. Then, in terms of time, online learning is considered inefficient in the use of time. Many lecturers suddenly change their schedule to another day without prior coordination with students. This causes students to feel uncomfortable when they are going to do something outside of lecture hours because they have to be aware if there is a sudden change of schedule. In addition, online learning often leads to schedule collision, as happened a few months ago during the Dies Natalis celebration. During the event, there were also two events at the same time, namely a substitute lecture and a guest lecture. Of course, this makes students more dizzy and bored because they have to have triple device. Now, this is also a problem because not all students have sufficient device to carry out all three events at the same time. Indeed, this looks flexible, but the flexibility is too excessive, which actually has bad impact of those who implement it. Then, view from aspect of mastery of technology. Not all students and lecturers are technology literate. There are still many of them who are not familiar with the learning system. Although online learning provides various platforms, this becomes meaningless if the user is not able to understand and operate the platform optimally. Therefore, I reiterate that online learning is considered ineffective during a pandemic like this. There are many factors that become problems that end up hindering the teaching and learning process, where these factors are interrelated with each other. Recommendations to overcome the obstacle faced during online learning are the need for free internet facilities or quota subsidies from both the government and universities. Give the, give the need of for larger internet quota. In addition, it is hoped that lecture can increase creativity by creating a pleasant learning atmosphere. For example, trying out online learning by utilizing social media that attracts student interest or enthusiasm such as live Instagram so that students can actively ask questions or use the TikTok application to convey simple material. Lecturers also need to carry out offline learning at least once a month to evaluate student understanding of the material provided, especially related to practical course so that lecturers know the progress of students during online learning. That's all from me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for all the team for the argument, and then we will go to the closing statement. For the closing speaker is from opposition team first. The time and screen is yours, please.
Okay, thank you for the time. I'm Tarisa. As a first speaker from opposition team, based okay, I'm Tarisa as a first speaker from opposition teams. Based on the finding and discussion, it is can be concluded that continuous online learning is not effectively implemented. This is caused by boredom repeatedly until it reaches a saturation point. In addition, less than half of the material that students are able to absorb. coupled with the ability of lecturer and students to use the internet is still low. As our theme second speaker said, we can imagine that in one semester there are approximately 10 courses taught with a total of 15 meetings, so that in total the student has to deal with the computer screen is 150 times. In the future, online learning should only be carried out with under certain conditions that do not allow face-to-face meeting, such as a natural disaster, and coupled with an increase in the professionalism of teaching staff in the use of various online applications, so the learning is not getting boring. That's all from our team. Thank you. Back to the moderator.
Okay, thank you, Tarisa, for the closing statement. And last but not least, we go to the government team for the closing statement. The time and screen is yours, please.
Okay, thanks for attention. Ladies and gentlemen, we from the affirmative team strongly support this motion, and this motion should stand especially in this era of pandemic. The reason is we give not only argument, but we also present the supporting fact that online learning is more effective when viewed from point of view of health and also the benefit or the advantage that exists. We cannot imagine how the faith and health of student will be if online learning is not implemented. I am sure that the number of cases infected by COVID-19 will not decrease as rapidly as it is today. With some of this advantage, it can be said that online learning is efficient enough to be applied to students and is able to make students avoid the dangers of virus. That's why our affirmative team is stronger than the negative team and this motion should stand. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for all the team for the closing statement. We come into the end in this debate session can be beneficial for all of us. Thank you.